Alright folks, let's set up an enclosure for a Ghost Mantis. Woohoo! Hi folks, and welcome to the next video. So today we're talking about what I think is one of the top 3 beginner mantises. It's the Ghost Mantis, the Phyllocrania paradoxa. So I've got this little chap here. As you can see, he's so tiny. I'll get some lenses out in a moment. It's at about L3 stage now. Male or female, not too sure yet. We'll probably find out. It's about L4 stage. And I'm going to show you a simple setup with a 16-ounce deli cup, then move them up to 32 ounces. They are very, very simple to keep. If you keep their enclosure sprayed about 3 to 4 times a week and keep a good food source, fruit flies, and then they can move up to either green bottles or blue bottles, which I'd highly advise. Small locusts, but always be careful if you're putting them in to take them out if they're not interested pretty quick. Now, one thing I will say about Ghost Mantises is they're not very confident. The males are a bit more scared than the females. They act dead very, very well. Can lay on the floor, absolutely look like they've gone, and you're horrified, but they're not. They're really good at this. They're very nervous, so you have to build up confidence with them by handling them. And yeah, they're great little mantis. I really would advise these. They're so alien looking like is the best way to explain them. They're very interesting. Now, I have seen them colour changing. Now, I don't know whether this is down to UV light or their environment and what they're eating, but I have seen green versions of these, and I do believe that's something to do with either their UV and their environment, if they have to change colour in the food. It could be a mixture of all of them. I'm not 100% sure. Now, the temperature wise, these can be kept between 20 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius, so if you've got a nice warm room, what's over 20 degrees Celsius, that would be great. Spraying these, I'd say 3 to 4 times a week, and keeping the food source like fruit flies and stuff like that good, which will give them the chance when they're shedding. What I do is when they reach full adults, I tend to get the humidity down a bit more. Like in other mantis species, they need it more through the molting stages, and as they get older, they get a lot from the food. That's just my personal preference. So lifespan on these, average, it depends what heat source you're keeping them at and how much you're feeding. The females are going to live longer. Mine have been living for about 7 to 8 months. Males probably a little bit less, but that's because I keep them around 25-26 degrees Celsius. Like with any mantis, if you keep the food source down as much and obviously the temperature down, which some people do when they're breeding, obviously they need to get the male up to the stage of the females because they have more sheds, the female do. So what we're going to do is show you a little setup which is dead simple. You can either use paper towel or substrate at the bottom and something from the climb on. It's so simple. So let's have a little look at how we do it and then we'll go from there. So hi folks, here we are. We're just showing you a simple setup. So here we have a little 16-ounce deli cup. Now I did buy these from a site that isn't actually running no more, I'm afraid, but I have seen ones about that you can actually get these. They're a bit different than the normal ones you see. They're a bit of a harder, like pet type, clearer tub, not as squishy, and what they've done is they've drilled a hole in there, put a bung and grommet in for putting flies, which is a great idea. Now you probably can get these with the lid like this, but it'd be fully, and you could use a cutting tool for a drill that they use for boring wood to bore that out. I wouldn't do it too rough, just gently to get that out. The next thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors, a spoon, so put them there, and you're going to need some things to decorate it with. So I've just got some little false plants for the time being that I've just snipped off. Little bits I brought from eBay, I brought a lot, and I snip them up and I keep them all together. And the next thing you'll need is some netting. Now you can get this off eBay, insect netting. It's actually the same stuff as they use on windows as well, netting, but this is an actual insect netting. It's very fine. You want it fine so it doesn't let the fruit flies through. So what I do is I pop my lid on like this. Doesn't necessarily have to be neat, don't worry about this guys. So I just literally pop that on there. I'll cut a piece off like so. Like I said, don't worry about it not being neat. We'll trim it up and just get it to size after. And we'll just pop that netting away. Then all I do is I just cut literally a square. So I'll cut it down that way, so like that. I'll cut it down that way, and I'll explain why I do a square in a moment. Some people cut it round, I cut it square, and I leave a little bit of an overhang Doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, guys, don't worry about that. Now the reason I do this is if you cut it round, is it'll get stuck in there. So what I do is I pop that on the top like so. So get that on the top there. And when you push this down, if you don't fully pull it, push the lid down and you pull this, you can make it so it's really taut and tight. So that way it's a stronger, you know, you can see the torque on that it's really strong. That means it's not going to slip out, nothing's going to get through from the edges, and it gives something a lot stronger for the mantis to grow on. So what we do now is we just get some soil. So I opt for using either cocoa soil or tarantula substrate. So I've got some tarantula substrate here. So what I do is I just get my spoon, try and get the bits what haven't got any of the wood in or anything like that, but it doesn't really matter, guys. You can use cocoa fibre for this, and to pop a good 4 or 5 spoonfuls in there. Now one of the things I don't do is I don't pat it down. The reason for this is the water doesn't sit in it as good. It tends to like clog up and lifts to the top, it doesn't drain through properly. And I will change the substrate every month or so, just because I haven't got any cleanup crew in there. This is just to start them off. I'm just putting the lid back on my stuff. Then I add maybe a few little decor pieces, just making sure as the mantis has got somewhere to hang. I preferably look at it so they don't tend to stay on a place where they're going to get stuck, so I try to keep it a bit different. So give them enough space. As you can see, they've got space there, they might hang there and not from the top. Don't necessarily have to add that. We will pop out, you can pop your mantis in there, pop the lid on, and some of these won't come with the bungs, and then I'll pop my bung on. Now you can spray through the top here, the substrate, spray 4 to 5 times a week if you want to, with Ghost Mantis. Great little simple setup, like I say, and that will last, and you can do the same in a 32-ounce cup, and then ready to move on to their bigger enclosures if you want to.
Hi folks, so a general rule I must add for your mantises is always make sure the enclosure is at least 2 to 3 times the width of the mantis and about 4 times the height of it. That gives it enough room to shed. Sometimes you will have problems with mismolts. This happens to even the best of keepers. Don't worry about it, it's nothing you've done wrong. If you've got all them specifications right with the humidity and the heat and the food and the enclosure size, you're still going to have problems. Sometimes they lose the footing, or sometimes they get in a position where they shed and it's not great. Something might be obstructing them, or sometimes they just get stuck in a molt. It happens. Don't knock yourself about it, try again. It is key to keep trying. These are great little pets to keep, and don't be discouraged from keeping them, because these things happen to the best of us. Hi folks, so I hope you enjoyed the video and it's helped in helping you to set up your enclosure for the Ghost Mantis. This can be used for other mantises as well, your beginner mantises. What we'll probably do in our next video is we'll probably have a look at some of the other hidden gems for beginner mantises. Probably try and get hold of a budwing, because it's been a while since I've had one of them. They're probably one that's not mentioned in the beginner species, and I think they are pretty simple to keep. They're great little hunters, have lovely big eyes and markings, and they're ever so funny to watch when they're chasing the prey. Sprogged mantis is another favourite of mine. I've kept a few of now. They're probably one of my favourites. They're so aggressive with their prey, but they always want to come out if you keep handling them, and they can grow pretty big in my opinion, the females.
Not so big as some other mantises, but they are great to look at. So if you've liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, give us a like and share. Thanks for watching.